And look who's back. Jack Osbourne is here. How's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. It's been a long time.
It has been a minute.
You've been. You know what I'm so impressed by?
What?
Your goddamn hairline. It is so. Especially like I watch the show.
Thank you.
And like, cause you just let it kind of go.
Yep.
And it's just it's maintained. It's social, and it's not going anywhere.
I know. It's funny. My hairline as of late has been a topic of conversation amongst. I'm on this thread with like a bunch of guys. And,
really?
Yeah. And so like sometimes they will spend a bit of time discussing my hairline. I'm very proud of it.
You should be. I mean, men get to a certain age where that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I know. You know, my hair used to come like a little bit like right there.
Yeah.
And when you have hair like mine, it becomes very apparent.
Yeah.
When that starts to kind of start to...
It's some people, that's just the way things are. But,
it is.
I'm of that... I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
You're not. I don't think you're going to get there either. Especially since your dad has like a great hairline.
My grandfather, both grandfathers had great head of hair.
It's just perfect. Imagine if you were the one bald Osbourne.
I know.
Though.
Like, wah, wah.
Oh, no. Yeah, just like you did not look like a rock star at all. Wow, you and your dad are back to making TV together.
Yeah, we are.
Which is kind of nuts.
Kind of nuts. Didn't think it was going to happen, actually.
You didn't, right?
No.
I read a little bit about how the series came to be. So it's called Ozzy and Jack's World Detour.
Yes.
Sundays, 10 p.m. on History.
Yes.
And you were saying, so it's basically like you and Ozzy, and you're going around and you're seeing historical places and
yeah. I mean, the kind of the core is a history show with just some funny things that happen along the way.
Yeah.
Me and my dad are both history buffs. It's kind of like a thing. Something. When I was a kid, we were always watching like documentaries, and he'd always like busting out all these old history books.
Which is kind of great because anybody who watched the old show remembered that is what Ozzy watched on the Osbournes.
Just History Channel constantly.
Yeah.
Back when it was History Channel.
Right. But I was reading about like kind of the genesis of the show, and it was so just casual.
Yes, super casual, like really awkwardly casual.
Which is so funny because like you hear so many people that are just fighting and struggling to be like, I have this idea for a show. Yeah. I want to get this show made or that show made. And you're like, Dad, you want to go like see stuff?
Well, and that's the frustrating thing because I have a production company and we produce TV shows and we spend like hours like, oh, let's do this treatment and we'll do this sizzle reel and spend a fortune and then, well, yeah, this is a great show. We put like 100 man hours into even just getting it ready to take to market.
Yeah.
And with my dad, it was just like, hey, so like, do you want to like just maybe go and like do something together? And he was like, yeah. And it was like, sold.
And then you go back to your production company and you're like, okay, we're going to tweak every idea we have to just add with Ozzy.
With Ozzy, yeah.
and then it sells.
I mean, hey, if that's what has to happen.
It seems like watching the show, because it's been on for a couple weeks now, and it does feel more like the style of reality show you guys were doing before.
Yes.
Like it's not even so much a reality show because it actually has a purpose. It's not just like, hey, there's car cams.
Well, we brought in a few people who worked on the Osbournes to work on the show.
Really?
Yeah. So Greg Johnston, who's our kind of showrunner, executive producer, he was one of the creators of the Osbournes. He was our main exec back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, hey, do you wanna get the band back together? And he was like, I'm there. And so he's been kind of the captain of the ship.
Now, is there any sort of, I know Kelly's been like super successful doing what she's doing. Mm-hmm. Is there any sort of like, you're just going with just Jack? You're not doing the whole...
My dad got sick at one point. We had to like reschedule. She's like, oh, I'll just come and fill in for him on the episode. And I'm like, Kel, like, I don't think you're really history's like demographic. Like,
right. You had to give her the tough talk.
Yeah, like, I love you. I would love to have you there, but like, I don't think history's gonna be so hyped on Kelly Osbourne today.
Right. And this isn't the Osbournes. It's like an Ozzy and Jack type thing. Yeah. So it'll just be us this time.
Yeah, just us. But like, hey, maybe in the future there could be some, we could do like the history of fashion if we did an episode on that.
Right.
perfect entry for Kelly Osbourne to come in and...
You're like, look, sis, you're the one who decided to go down the fashion road.
Totally.
So that's the road you're on.
And I decided to stay in, like, the nerd road. So
right.
That's why it works.
Nerds happen to be cool right now.
Right?
So
hey, we're in.
Right, exactly. I loved it that you guys did the Alamo episode.
That was literally the first thing when we said we were doing this show. I was like, we are going to the Alamo. We're bringing him back.
Because it's not even sort of like, it's not like, well, you know, there is this legend of Mr. Osbourne urinating on... It's like, no, Ozzy pissed on the Alamo, so they say. We're going to find out.
Exactly. It was like, so what's the story? Is he still, like, hated there? Do they love him? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, I loved that. So what's the theory? So you go to the Alamo, and you find out from Alamo historians that his arrest... was for public intoxication.
Yes, not public urination.
So is that to say that he did not piss on the Alamo?
So what we found out was, so it's some people say he didn't actually urinate on the physical building of the Alamo. And most witnesses say he urinated on it doesn't make it any better.
Right.
On the war memorial across the street.
Oh Jesus.
So it's like do you even bother trying to be like, no, I didn't pee on the Alamo. I peed on the big beautiful monument
the war memorial
commemorate the souls lost here. Like it's kind of like just
not where it happened, just the memory of the dead people.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's kind of that thing where we were just like
let's just focus on the Alamo now.
Let's just check out this,
But he definitely pissed somewhere.
He definitely urinated somewhere in a woman's dress, and he got arrested for it.
Okay. Now, was that a tough sell then? To then go back to the Alamo and be like...
Well, he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then, like, then when he realized actually that this was happening, he was just like... Oh man, because they were. I think he had a bit of like PTSD around the whole thing because they really did not, and like I think they kind of scared the crap out of him when he got arrested there, and like he was just like, no, like we can't, like this is gonna get crazy, like I'm not okay with this. This is trust me, this is gonna get crazy, and I'm like, no, it's fine, and then, the local politicians announced it at a city kind of conference in front of like the entire city that Ozzy Osbourne's coming to the Alamo on Tuesday or something, and it was just like
so bad.
You guys weren't supposed to do that. Like, You're trying to go under the radar and not cause a scene.
Right. It's not like you're wearing funny noses, but just let us kind of show up there.
The police department had to bring in extra police.
Jesus.
Yeah, they had to call in people and like bring in bodies to like help.
And then you get into like, because you got your own level of fame, but you stepped out of I'm Jack Osbourne into I'm just one of these handlers going, we need everybody to step back.
And they were just going nuts. We couldn't do anything, and no one was saying. The cops were just like, we don't know what to do. And so like I had to just I actually ended up making this really long speech. I didn't quite make the cut.
Yeah.
Kind of came across a little probably harsh.
A little more militaristic than you actually were.
Yeah. I was like demanding people take like 10 steps back, and it was a whole thing.
But I like that, like, see, there are reality shows that basically have the episode all planned out before it happens.
Yeah.
And the minute the news says, well, Ozzy's here, well, now our shot's ruined because all these people, and they go, well, we can't do the show now.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys are just like, well, fuck it, we'll just film what happens.
Totally.
And maybe we won't see the Alamo at all. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, we barely saw the Alamo. It was behind like a sea of people. You could see the top of the building.
Right.
No, it's true though. I mean, we try, because producing my dad is difficult, and he's very like, no, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just have to know how to create scenarios that will allow my dad to blossom.
Right. And as a producer, which you are now, are you sitting there like, okay, I know what these producers want. I know what my dad's capable of. Let me put my producer hat on.
Yes.
And kind of produce host as we go.
Totally. Yes, absolutely. And the way that my dad works best is that, it's funny. Like my dad was raised by like his sisters and his mom, and like, and I was raised by, my mom, nannies and whatever. And
sure.
So we will operate very well in the sense that like, my dad will not do anything if a male producer says, hey, go over there and do it. He's just like, yeah, whatever. But you send a female producer, he just instantly responds to, because he's used to taking orders from women, like my mom.
Right.
So, like, as soon as a woman presents an order to him, he's like, yes, okay, I will go and do that.
Right.
And so we learn, okay, cool. Well, we, female producer, and we need like female experts because he just knows how to respond.
Whereas, like, he gets alpha male when a guy's like, well, you know what happened here? He's like, yeah?
Well,
like, I'm better than you.
Totally.
Yeah.
When he's around guys, it's his band, and he's the boss.
Right.
And so he's like, well, no, we're doing what I'm doing.
Right.
It's exactly like, so it's funny, like, learning those little things.
What did your family think of the fact, like, not your Ozzy family, but your family, your wife, your kid, like, because this is not, you're not little kid Jack Osbourne obnoxiously running around the house anymore. You're a man with a job and a family, and you're an adult person. So when you're like to your wife, I'm going to do this show with my dad, we're gonna go travel around and stuff, is she like? She
was a little she was cool with it. She's like, oh, this is great, like, awesome, we're hyped. But she was just concerned about being gone for so long.
Right. It's a good, you can't.
It's a great opportunity. And, like, aside from the business side of things, but, like, just spending that time with my dad is awesome. Right.
Well, that's what I was thinking. And as you watch the show, it's just, it's fun to see you at this point interacting with your dad, because you're just at this place where you're, like, just so cool with each other.
Yeah.
And you enjoy each other's company. Like, you're honestly just sitting there getting a kick out of the things that your dad says.
Totally. And the fun thing is about traveling with, like, a member of the family, you don't get homesick.
Right.
Because you're like, but I'm with my family, so it's good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
How old are your kids now?
I have a 4-year-old and a 13-month-old.
Okay, so the 4-year-old probably isn't even old enough to kind of get...
Oh, she does.
She does.
We're super close. Like, she's like daddy's girl. She's literally like my sidekick. And so, like, when I leave, it's like... It's painful for her. She's like...
It's not good.
Not good. Like, I'm in New York for 24 hours,
and
I told her on Monday at breakfast, hey, Dad's leaving tomorrow just for a show. And she just, like, the lone, like, weepy one tear just starts rolling down her face.
And does that just destroy you?
I'm just like... like, terrible.
You're just calling, like, I can't promote the show.
No more promotion. From my house. I will promote from my house.
Yeah. Well... Jack's going to do the interviews via ISDN with his daughter sitting right next to him, because...
But I want to bring her on. If we do the show again, I'm going to bring her on one of the trips.
Yeah, well, that's actually what I was going to ask you, too. Like, you know what it's like, not that young, but you know what it's like to be a kid, kind of, and have people know who you are.
Yeah.
Would you bring her on knowing that, like, okay, this is how I know what to do now. I can equip her with these kind of lessons and tools. And
well, I think it's a lot different now, too, with social media, because it's like... I don't, like, hide my kids away from that, and, I put stuff online of us, really intimate kind of moments at home, and so people kind of, I don't, like, hide my kids away, so I would be okay with having her around, and for her, it's just kind of normal. Like, it's, like, I remember when as a kid, I would see my dad on TV and get, like, really excited because he was a musician, and
sure.
A musician, it was like, oh, cool, like, Top of the Pops in England.
Right.
And so for her, she's always seen, I'm either done something or other on TV.
Right.
She's been around, and so she's kind of used to, like, oh, yeah, it's down on TV.
That's what Dad does.
Yeah.
He hangs out in that box all day.
Yeah, he's on that weird thing on the wall.
That's right. Box. I'm showing my age now.
It's that's the cartoon machine.
Yeah. Does she know that Grandpa's the Prince of Darkness? Like, does she get Ozzy? And how famous and kind of...
Any rock music is Papa's music.
She knows.
She's just like, I want to listen to Papa's music. And I'll, like, turn on, like, classic rock or whatever. She's like, this is Papa's music. I'm like, no, this is AC/DC. She's like, no, it's Papa's music. I'm like, okay.
All right.
It's Papa's music.
He now gets credit for, like, every hard rock that was made in the 80s or 90s.
Anything.
Yeah. How do you deal with... How do you deal with the press around what went on with your mom and dad when 1 minute they're like separated, and then 2 days later it's like, okay, everything's fine, and blah, blah. And it struck me when Ozzy and Sharon made all the tabloids and everything that it was probably some kind of fight that happened in the moment. It got over the top, and then everything was okay, like things happen.
It's my parents don't have that picture perfect, leave it to beaver relationship. They never have. I mean, you go back and look at stuff from the 80s, it's like, they have a very tumultuous, fiery relationship, and it's very passionate, and there's ups and downs, and it's kind of normal. I mean, most people have these ups and downs in relationships. What happened is a bit of a down, and they're working through it, and it's like they, both my parents are really open about kind of discussing what's happened, and and they're just, they're just going through the motions of marriage, and they're trying to, they're working through it.
What's amazing is, like, most parents don't even ever share that information with their kids.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's kind of a good lesson for the kids, because then you guys see, oh, relationships are a lot of work.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not just this thing that just happens and it's perfect because all the fights are hidden and all the...
But here's the weird thing is that, like, you look at the day and age that we're in now, right? Okay, just take the presidential race, for instance.
Yes.
You got one guy running he's on his third wife.
Right.
And you have a woman now who's running, who we all know what happened there.
Yeah, there was some infidelity in the relationship.
So it's like, hang on a second here. Like, it's almost not even bothered. Like, why is this even newsworthy anymore? Because it just seems to be like, this is just humanity.
Right. Sometimes when people are married for a while, shit happens, then you got to fix it.
Yeah, you either fix it or you don't. You bail. But it's,
I think it's a thing where I think people in general need to see, because you spend so much time like celebrity worshiping, which already is unhealthy.
Totally.
And then to be like, oh, good, I found some flaws. Now this thing that I put up on this pedestal, I can bring down to make myself feel better. Yeah. And you're like, it's a person.
Well, if you think about it, up until the 20th century, people would sit around and they would tell stories of gods. Right? They would tell stories of, like, David and Goliath and Zeus and Hercules and, like, these mythical creatures who were like their gods. Well, celebrity has become that.
That's true.
People sit around and they talk about the antics of celebrity as if celebrities are these kind of better than perfect humans.
Right.
And so they enjoy when these demigods have flaws.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I really think the only way to combat it is doing what you guys are doing and doing your show the way you've done it. And that's to actually just be honest, right? And just like kind of show the flaws, not really be ashamed of anything, and just move on as people.
And that's always been kind of the, our family has always been like really straight up with things.
Yeah.
We've always been, because skeletons in the closet will always come out. So why not just be out in front of it? And I mean, even with the Osbournes, like back in the day, and just it's, it just, we never saw a reason to try and skirt around issues that
are real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, but here's the thing, when stuff is real because we'll comment on it, and the stuff that's bullshit, just because we don't.
Right.
We didn't say that. Like, that's not from us. Like, that didn't happen.
Right. Which is helpful, because then it's like there really shouldn't be any doubt, right? Like if it's a made up story, you'll be like, no, that's real.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit.
Yeah, because if it's real, we're going to talk about it. If it's not, we're just going to ignore it.
Right, exactly. And that's like smart, but it's a bit of strategy that I think most people don't implement.
Totally.
It's like that's where they get caught up. How's your health, by the way?
Great. Besides like coughing a lung out in here right now, I'm good. Yeah.
Does that bother you, by the way, when you cough and like because of your health and because of MS and everything, everybody goes like, "Is this it? Is this it? No,
that's my mom. Every time I'm like, she's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just not feeling good." She's like, "Really? What's going on? Right. Tell me. Do we need to go to the doctor?" I'm like, "I am fine.
Right.
I'm just not feeling well."
Right.
She's like, "But like what?" I'm like, Shut up.
The only thing you could possibly do is be like, how are you feeling? Fine. Every time.
Great.
Fine. Great. Good.
Stellar.
Everything is great.
Everything is fine all the time.
Right. You don't look
problem.
well. Can't tell you why, because I feel great.
Why are you coughing blood?
Don't know.
That's how my lungs work.
Yeah, there's something that feels so right about it.
I like the way the taste of blood in my throat.
Right. I was watching, when I'm watching the episode, right, and you guys are doing the Alamo episode, I was like, wait a minute. I think I figured out what they're doing. If this show is successful, I feel like history is going to make a pitch for like Ozzy Osbourne Mythbusters, where you and Ozzy have to go around and be like, we're going to go back and see if he really bit the head off a bat, and like every Ozzy myth, because there's plenty of them.
There are plenty.
You guys go and disprove.
Just totally get to the root and like, did it happen? Did it happen? You know?
Plus the explanation is great, because you go like, we would ask Ozzy, but he doesn't remember.
No,
he has no recollection.
I don't know.
Where else are you visiting this season?
So we went to Cuba. We went to
England. You went to Cuba. That must have been amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome place.
Did you catch any heat for it? Were people like mad that you're not supposed to be visiting a country?
I got a couple like tweets on Facebook of people being like, "Oh, whatever, like you're gonna hang out with those commies," and it's like, I'm like, yeah. Like, what you're wearing right now is made in China,
right?
Like, you want to talk like where not to support? Like, I'm pretty sure the Chinese were giving tons of weapons to people we went to war with.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think Cuba was. Just saying.
Let's break it down. But it was amazing to see.
Phenomenal. Like, all the old cars, the food, just the whole vibe of Havana is just amazing.
And it's so great that you go now because it's still relatively untouched.
Totally.
Like, there hasn't been an influx of Western culture yet.
But the country can't actually handle the influx because of the infrastructure. It doesn't have the electrical grid or the plumbing or the sewer system to handle American industrialism.
Right.
And I just don't think the country is going to embrace it like everyone's assuming. Because you talk to people and they're like, but we don't want McDonald's and we don't want Starbucks.
Yeah, you've never been to TGI Fridays, though.
Dude, Dave & Buster's is awesome.
Because you eat, but then you got all these games. They're like, yeah, we're good.
You could win prizes and eat wings.
Right. It's really bad food and even worse prizes. It's the best. And they're like, yeah, no, I think...
Yeah, we'll just stick to our rice and beans at like the little Cornish restaurant.
Right.
But there's like these pop-up restaurants everywhere, which is kind of awesome.
And it's actually good food.
Yeah.
I'm sure because it's actually like people who live in the culture creating food.
I mean, it's all pretty organic too. Like there's no like GMO like spraying and all that. Like,
but they haven't figured that out yet.
They haven't figured it out yet. Exactly.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, by the way, speaking of the sewage system, that didn't really stop Brazil from hosting the Olympics, right?
Hey, you know what? There's always a way around things, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. Where else did you go? So you went to Cuba.
Went to Cuba, went to England. We do a Stonehenge episode, which is awesome. We went to Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, Japan was cool.
See, that's also got to frustrate you as a producer because obviously there's a lot of money put into this show.
Big time.
And you're like,
absolutely.
You're like, just like that, huh?
Yeah. No, it's there's been many a meeting where we're like, I don't really think that's very smart for us to just go ahead and do that.
Right.
Yeah.
What did you do in Japan?
We kind of went on like a quest for samurai swords and like found all these. Like I held $1 million ancient samurai sword.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd be so I'd be afraid like I'm gonna drop it and snap the blade or something. That's so cool.
Yeah, we hung out with Master Machi, who's the like leading samurai like swordsman today.
Is he like the guy in Kill Bill?
He pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like was it Oren Ishii or whatever?
Yeah.
He's basically Oren. But he's got like 8 or 9 Guinness records for like cutting bullets in half and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you go through all this stuff, as much as you've seen in your life, now that like you hit all this sort of culture and things that people don't get to see all in one shot, because how long did you film for?
We did it in we did it over like a 6-month period. It was like 10 trips.
Right.
My dad's tour schedule.
Right. But in 6 months, you got hit with a lifetime of culture, more than a lifetime of culture.
A lot, yeah.
Do you kind of like sit there and be like, you guys like look around at the people around you, like you guys don't know anything about the world. I'm a traveled man.
Exactly. It's like, you know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've traveled a lot too, and that's what I find always so surprising about America as a culture. It's like the country is set up in a way to where you don't actually have to leave.
Right.
Like you got Hawaii or Florida if you want something tropical.
Yeah, that's true.
You go to Alaska or Colorado if you want the snow.
You can go to the Grand Canyon.
And go to the Grand Canyon.
See rock formations and stuff.
So there's so it's really funny. Like all my friends in England, right? The moment they turned 18 and left high school, they traveled.
Right.
They just like, I'm out. I got my passport and a backpack and I'm gone for a year. Here, it's like you say that to they're like, what? No, you have to go to college.
Where would you go? It's America.
And then you need $200,000 debt.
Right.
And then you have to go work immediately to pay that debt off and then get more debt. And it's like...
There's no money to travel because you spent it all on student loans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas, just take that year out. Go explore. Go see stuff.
And just go do it. Yeah.
And it's surprisingly, like, if you're smart about it, it's really not that expensive.
Honestly... Even if you can't leave the country, just drive around.
Go check stuff out.
Yeah.
Just head to like a couple states over.
Nobody's ever been like, I went on this grand exploration of all these places and it sucked.
Yeah, no one has ever said that. I mean, you have a lame vacation here or there, but like...
if you're actually going and seeing things that you haven't seen before, there's going to be something, right?
Yeah.
That you learn from or spikes your interest?
Listen, I got my wife, their family, they vacation in Destin, Florida. That's their jam. And I was like, oh, I'll go check it out.
Where in Florida?
Destin, Florida.
What's Destin?
Destin, also known as the Redneck Riviera.
Ooh.
It's got those beautiful white sand beaches.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll go. And like stayed at this like condo resort place and like for like the heat of summer with like 9,000 people on the beach. And, and I was like, all right, whatever. Find a way to have fun, check stuff out, eat some local cuisine.
Yeah, eat some of the local destined cuisine. You're not a picky eater, are you?
Not at all.
Oh,
being a picky eater is like my biggest pet peeve.
Well, then you wouldn't like me. That would be my worst part. Like you'd just be sitting there.
Are you a bland eater?
It's pretty bland, yeah.
Is that for like dietary, like
no, I've only ever eaten like I eat chicken.
Okay, hey.
Hey, they got chicken.
There you go.
I eat chicken. I eat pizza. You know.
Are you born in New York or like raised in like?
I lived in England for a little while actually. Okay. But yeah, for the most part,
that's
just
funny.
New York.
I have a friend who's born and raised in New York. Same thing.
Right.
He eats chicken, potatoes, pizza.
Yeah.
That's
I like those 3 things, and that's all you really need.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go out.
3 basic food groups.
Yeah. I wouldn't go out and be like an asshole about it and be like, well, there's nothing to eat here, so we can't eat here. But it has frustrated people because I'm like, no, I'm fine. Right. And it's just I won't.
Right. You just
eat.
can't. Wow. Interesting.
You know. But
what's the most dangerous thing daring thing you've eaten? Do you eat sushi?
No. No.
A cucumber roll?
No. My wife was like flipped out when we went to a hibachi place, and I was like, I'm gonna have a shrimp. Oh. She was like, what? Shrimp? You're eating a shrimp. Are you cheating on me? I don't know you.
All of a sudden, just like everything just goes slow motion. Yeah. It's like, what's happening?
Yeah. My world is crumbling around me. No, man, I don't eat anything. I'm a big pro wrestling guy.
Okay.
And so when I was working for Opie and Anthony, they had Mick Foley come in. It was Cactus Jack. And I don't eat steak. I don't eat like meat. I eat chicken.
Yeah.
And they wanted to see if I was bluffing or not. So they had Mick Foley come in and feed it to me like a baby.
Wow.
And I started like gagging. Like I started going into dry heaves just with steak in my mouth. I just couldn't.
You don't eat steak?
No, nothing.
So it's just chicken and pizza.
I'll eat a potato too.
And a potato.
Yeah.
Any vegetables?
I'll have like some raw veg. Yeah, I'll have like carrots.
Celery?
I'm down with some celery.
Okay, well that's good.
Some tomatoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do tomatoes.
That's crazy. How do you get by?
Man, it's tough. It's a struggle. The struggle is real.
I'd be sitting there going like, yeah, that would be my travel show. Is like, how does Sam eat in foreign places? Like not like the
surviving with Sam.
Right. It would be the total opposite of Anthony Bourdain. Like, here we eat worms and we eat this, and we're like, I'm on the search for chicken fingers in, this third world country.
McDonald's pretty much everywhere, so you get nuggets.
Right. And that's what I do. Well, listen, Jack Osbourne is a far more traveled man than me, and you can go with him on his adventures with Ozzy and everything. It really is a funny show, and it's fun to watch. It's on History every Sunday night at 10, so check it out. And I'm glad everything else is going well.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else on the horizon?
I launched a diaper bag company for dads.
Hey!
Yeah, so I make cool bags for dads.
That's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Because you do see now, it's not a thing anymore that dads don't carry diaper bags, right?
Co-parenting is more prominent than ever before, and there are more stay-home dads than ever before in history.
Did you do research on that, or were you just like, this diaper bag sucks?
I did. It was I started the company out of necessity because I was like, I'm not walking around with like a florally pink bag,
right?
Because I have a daughter. Like,
right.
No.
Right.
And so I just used this other bag, which was like a gun range bag, and I was like, it works. It's good size and all these pockets. And then I designed my own bag, and I was like, this is great. And so we started a company called Tier 1 Dad.
And does it kind of look like you could have a gun or diapers in it?
It's very like it's very military inspired, but
That's cool.
The design of them is like we have like a messenger bag, and we have like a tote, and so that they're.
I like it.
They're good.
I like it. And it's very smart.
And it's all made in America, too.
It's very smart. Yeah, made in America. So Trump will love it.
Right. Trump.
These are the greatest diaper bags.
The best.
The best.
We are going to do diaper bags so good.
You are going to love it. You won't believe it. You'll be tired of how good these diaper bags are.
Best diaper bag.
Amazing. Amazing. What a great time to be in America, huh?
Right. Hey. Woohoo.
Yes. Awesome. Jack Osbourne, thank you so much. Make sure you watch the show. And we'll be back with more Sam Roberts Show after this.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam.
Hey, it's Sam Roberts back here in the SiriusXM studio with the most flattering camera angle that I could find. Listen to my show every night on XM 103, Sirius 206. It's Sam Roberts Show, Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern and going all the way to midnight Eastern.
That's 6 p.m. on the West. We got celebrities all the time. You just saw a celebrity interview. If you want more and you want to find them as soon as they get uploaded to this channel, go to the side of the page and subscribe. You can get all kinds of celebrity interviews, clips from my show, wrestling stuff. You never know what you're going to find on the Not Sam YouTube channel. So subscribe.